Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm out here just checking out some of these propagations. We had some propagation videos we had released not that long ago. We've got 4 strawberries and 5, all propagated from one mother plant. You can see all these strings basically connecting all the pots. This one got broken off and it is still continuing to grow. You can see where it got detached. One of the kids had broken that off and it continued growing. So don't forget to propagate all of your runners from your strawberries, because if they're ever bearing, they will just keep on giving. Another one we got is very cool. We got Stevia, the sugar plant. So we are going to be making our own sugar, but I want to really get this propagating because I want to share this plant. So we'll propagate this out after it gets a little bigger in this pot, because it was just up potted here. So we'll be able to propagate off of this. We basically stool layered this off already into 2 separate plants. So we'll be able to separate this out into 2 plants, if not more, just from cuttings. So let's head on into the greenhouse. I got lots of stuff going on out here, in here, all over the greenhouse here. I want to show these little black cherry tomatoes. There's our bullfrog pulling security here. He is always out and about. He loves to just be out and about. He doesn't really swim in the pond unless we come in and disturb him. He was hanging out underneath all of these mulberry cuttings we got. That is a nice big black mulberry. That tree will get big off of these cuttings. We want to sell some of these locally, and this is the perfect environment to do it. You can see the soil's nice and moist. These cuttings look green, fresh, and they look healthy, like they're about to re-sprout some growth. So this is our #1 propagation station. We are basically cranking plants out of here. You can see all the hyssop cuttings, got tons of basil. I like to reserve the front for the odd kind of things. I have this little bit of rhubarb that was kind of dying on me, so I just stuck it in there, and you can see the amount of growth we've gotten in about a week. We've got all that rhubarb we've got in here that we pulled up. It's starting to regrow up. It's bounding back from being pulled up. It really didn't like that because it's been so darn hot here lately. We've had like 90s all week, not a drop of rain really, so we're just basically using all the humidity in this greenhouse in order to keep all this stuff alive. And you can see here I've got a little bit of green life coming in all of our wheat berries. We've got these sprouting because it's nice and warm out here. We don't have to worry about those going nasty on us or rotting. They're gonna sprout and grow before they have a chance to mold over on us. We've changed the water one time because it seems to be using a lot of water in here. We have water everywhere, but it seems to evaporate and just hold the moisture in the environment. The extreme humidity in here, I am sweating like crazy, but it is perfect for our plants. We have all of these plants. I've been experimenting with larger cuttings and trying to get longer, larger cuttings to root. This is pretty wild. You can see that it just rooted right in the middle. This is a big stalk, big cutting of basil that I had took, and I wanted to see what it would do, and it absolutely did what it was supposed to. That's pretty wild. So this has been super cool for experimenting. I just like to show some roots here. We've got all the roots coming up. You can see the roots just growing right out of the rocks of this mint. It's just falling right over the side here. That mint is super easy to propagate. It'll basically do it on its own. We've got all these marigolds sitting back here. We've propagated probably about 1,000 of these this season. They've been in here for quite some time. I had just forgotten about them, but they have some serious root growth going on in those. Very cool stuff. And you can't beat having all those free plants. We've got all of these guppies down here just absolutely multiplying too. We started with half a dozen guppies or so, and now we're up to about 30 guppies or more. We've got all the babies coming, just constantly growing. There's our bullfrog sitting on his little stoop back there. Nice shady spot for him, eating all the bad bugs in the pond. And all of these little mosquito fish, I have not seen one mosquito larva in this pond or in this water, and we have a little flies that come in. You normally have bugs and flies and all types of little gnats and stuff that like to hide in your greenhouse, and they find this water source and they basically get eaten right up. These guppies are serving their purpose, so is that frog. So in this little greenhouse, we've basically created the perfect environment for all of this life to flourish, all of these plants to just take hold and produce as much fruit as they possibly can, and good fruit at that. We've got tons and tons of stuff at different stages. So I just wanted to give a little update. We built this aquaponics system this spring just out of free materials and old recycled stuff we had and some PVC. Very easy to do. You can look up that video. I'll drop a link for that. This is technically our first greenhouse. So me, my wife, and my kids have learned a ton from this, me more so than everybody, because I've been building all of these systems and running it. But my children are learning tons and tons of information. They know so many things that kids in their school do not know because they simply get their hands dirty. They are not spending hours and hours in front of a screen. They're always outside, they're helping me or just playing, being kids. Now I'm creating total assets out of my children just by them being around and me teaching them as I work and as I learn, teaching them and passing it on to the next generation. I'm creating assets out of my children, and they in turn will be able to run my permaculture nursery. They will know more than me by the time they're at the point that I am right now, because I'm just learning. I started this journey about 6, 7, maybe 8 years ago, just reading and watching videos and just researching self-sufficiency on my own. We've got a long journey ahead of us to get to self-sufficiency and to where we want to be as a family and as a small community. So a huge thank you to everybody for watching and following along and subscribing to our channel. We're going to continue to bring good content. We will be bringing an update for our 52-foot greenhouse here very shortly in the next couple weeks.